The most dangerous thing you can do right now is pray for them to come back. If you're confused, if you're replaying the last conversation, asking, why wasn't I enough? You are asking the wrong question, my friend. Why am I recording this? Because I know how loud the silence is. I know how it feels to check their last scenes, waiting for that one notification to fix how you feel. But I want you to listen today, because the pain that you're feeling in your chest, that is your energy screaming to come back. You know, years ago, I used to be the girl that hoped someone would act in a way that filled the parts of me that needed healing. I was only attracting unavailable people, even though I thought they were available. I just chose people who couldn't choose me, who abandoned me over and over again. But in time, I realized, did they abandon me or did I abandon myself in the relationship? And while I was going through the pain, through the relationships, feeling so unhappy, the relation with God, the universe, whatever resonates with you, became stronger. And I realized God, the universe, didn't remove them to hurt me. God really removed them to protect me. Because God knows me. God knows way more than I do. The moment I started to pray, the moment I started to connect back to God, my life started to align again. And it was not in a way I wanted to see, but it happened beyond my power. And I got left with peace within me. And that was all I was asking for. The things God was removing from me, it hurt, yeah, but it needed to happen, because otherwise I would still feel miserable in my life. And if you're going through the same thing, if you're going through a heartbreak, through a loss, I want you to know this. You are protected. God is always protecting you. The universe is always working for you. Your spirit angels are always there for you. So today we're not just going to move on, because it's not that simple. We are going to find out why this rejection is actually divine protection on a deeper level. Because I want you to feel that the pain you're experiencing is really the doorway. I want you to shift into a powerful version of you who trusts, who says, not this time, who says, I show up for me and my future. So a little bit of a story. So I traveled to another country, giving up my old life, meeting the other person in their needs. And after a week, I got abandoned. That person left my life and I was so confused, asking like in tears, but what am I supposed to do? I feel so lost. I was so vulnerable in that moment. I said these things out loud and the answer I got is just stay a few more days in this country and then go back to where you came from. I put my trust in this person and it was so painful. It was the biggest form of abandonment I've experienced in my life, where I'm putting all of my trust in this person. And yeah, I did heal from this. Otherwise, I couldn't talk about it. But I'm sharing this not to play the victim, but it's also not about the other person. But along the way, like after my healing, during my healing, I realized nobody abandoned me. I abandoned myself already in the relationship before that person could even abandon me. And that was my way of protecting myself, because what I did is I already rejected myself. So if this other person would reject me, or any person in my life would reject me, it didn't hurt, because subconsciously I can say to myself, it doesn't hurt because I already abandoned myself. This was a pattern, such a deep pattern I needed to see in order to opt out of this pattern. It's never about them. It's not that surface level. It is really, am I willing to go deep within myself, or am I going to play the victim in my life? It is really up to me. And I decided to use everything that happens to me to grow, to become stronger. I've been exactly where you are. I remember the panic. I remember when my heartbreak happened. And I remember that the first story I told myself was, of course they left. People always leave me. And in my healing, I was also kind of obsessed with, what they were doing and hoping they would come back, even though I knew I wouldn't want them to come back. I wouldn't accept it. But then I would feel like, yeah, this person wants me back. So see, I am good enough. And that, I remember that I even watched, and it was my guilty pleasure, tarot readings on YouTube, hoping just a stranger would tell me like, that person is coming back. And in time, I realized that I was addicted to potential of a person instead of reality of how they treated me. And then it really hit me. I realized that this is really a waste of my time and a waste of my life. And I asked myself, like, why am I giving someone else's confusion so much power over my clarity? And think about it. Like, why are you giving someone else's confusion so much power over your clarity? They're out there living their life, and I'm here abandoning my own life to watch theirs, to hope they will come, giving the remote of my life to other people. Like, that was for me the shift. And I realized if I accept their rejection as the truth about my worth, then I am abandoning me, nobody else. And in that moment, I made a decision, not a wish, but a decision. I said, I'm not going to be the victim of this story. I'm going to reconnect to God. Why do I believe that prayer is so powerful? During that relationship, I remember that I asked for intervention. I asked for a sign that I could not ignore. And then the story of the abandonment happened, and it was super painful. Like, I didn't mean anything. Like, I was trash after everything I did for this person. And, I understood this was the sign I asked for. This was the sign I could not ignore anymore, because if I did, I would have lost my self-respect. And, and that takes me back to another moment where I promised myself that I will never ever abandon myself again, even when it hurts. Promises, guys, are super powerful. Your relationship with God, with the universe, is the most powerful thing you can have. Like, to respect and to love yourself is to respect the God, the universe who created you. Think about this, right? I really believe, if you know me, you know that I believe in a world of and. You can feel the pain and you can use it to become stronger. You don't have to choose. But here is the truth that really changed everything for me. It might sting a little, but I say everything with love. You know that. What if I tell you that if you're experiencing this, nobody abandoned you, but you abandoned yourself just to be chosen by them, just to feel good enough, because you have a belief within yourself that you're not good enough. Think about it. How many times did you really silence your intuition? How many red flags did you paint white? Did you ignore? How many times did you beg for breadcrumbs and call it a meal and settled for less? You left yourself first. You left your connection with God, maybe to worship a person. And many of you also ask me, like, how do you trust life so much? You know why? Because there was a time in my life where I suffered from anxiety, deep anxiety. But to feel safe, I needed signs. And I started to ask for signs. And I started to ask God, the universe, my spirit angels. And I really got big signs, guys. I realized that I am never alone, even though I felt so lonely. But there was this big unseen world protection team around me. And I just have to tap into it, to talk to it, and to really ask for spiritual guidance. Let me tell you a story. That's my biggest evidence. And that was, I felt so anxious to be in the present, right? I was doing some gardening and I asked for a sign. God, if I am safe, if I'm really safe, show me a sign. And my signs back then were white feathers, okay? I kept seeing small signs, but I needed a bigger one. So I asked God, please show me a sign I cannot ignore. And I got a white feather this big curled up, and it was just rolling on the ground towards me with the wind. And I was like, I cannot ignore this. I've never seen a feather this big. I kid you not. It was from a swan, I think. But that was for me where I realized if you ask for signs, they are there. And there is a team around you. Tap into that. And that is how I started to trust life more. So tap into it. Connect back to God. Ask for what you want. Ask for guidance. So the reason why I'm sharing all of this is to let you know that when God removes someone or removes a job or closes a door that you banked on for years, it is not a loss. It is clearing. It is realignment. It is space being made for what actually matches you, matches your worth. Because God saw conversations you didn't hear. God saw energy, intentions you couldn't feel. And God said, not for you, not this. So how do we stop the obsession? Because someone left and you want them to come back again. We just don't let go, we take back. And by listening to the first part of this video, you already made that shift. You already did that. But I'm also going to help you with your energy because your energy is leaking, right? Your thoughts, think about the past, you're everywhere, it's scattered. And this is something that really helps me to call my energy back home, to connect to me, and to stay strong in my power. We're going to call your energy home. So I want you to close your eyes. I want you to visualize your whole energy around you and you're calling it back, and try to see it. If not, just feel and accept that it is happening, okay? So while sitting here, I want you to say this out loud with me and make your voice strong, but not from screaming, but from power, and say, I call my energy back. I call my energy back from every person and every place. I'm not empty without them. I'm full of God, of creation, and I am loved and I am guided. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I always accept this as my truth. Whatever is happening now is happening for my ultimate good, period. And then gently open your eyes. You actually start to say, I trust the no more than my desire. And that isn't sadness leaving, but that is really power returning. And don't fight the sadness, because sadness is part of this. If you're fighting your sadness, it means you're fighting your capacity to love. The pain is equal to your heart. The deeper you love, the deeper it hurts. Don't fight your true nature, but shift that rejection is redirection to something better. If it is not this, it is something better. When you stop chasing, when you stop begging, you start aligning and you start attracting, okay? So it is time to stop convincing people to love you. The right doors open without force. Stop banging on closed doors. The right people are waiting for you. You're being realigned. Your life is being realigned. Now that is how you take your power back. That is how you trust life. And that is how you stay true to you. Okay. So I hope my message resonates. Let me know in the comments if it does. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.